Right. Perfect. Okay, so welcome to the HomeGuard door and windows visualizer tutorial or walkthrough. So today I'm going to give you a full comprehensive look at the different options and the different tools available to you on the visualizer. Right now on your screen, you should be seeing the main page or the home page on that. And we've got the two call to actions in the main area here. The first is the upload photo option as well as the use sample homes option. These two buttons will also navigate. You can use the navigation bar at the top here to the same spaces. You'll see that we have a sample homes area as well as the upload photo page. They are the same pages. So you can choose what you want to do when you first are navigating on the visualizer. Now, one other thing is there is a home button at the top here. So if you ever want to navigate back to this page, you can do that using home. One of the reasons why this is here is that one of the nice things is if anyone does click on the HomeGuard visualizer or the HomeGuard logo at the top left corner, that's going to open the HomeGuard web page as well. So people can actually return to your main pages. Now, when using the visualizer, there is an account process or an account element. So users can upload their own images and then save them to a visualizer account, recall those projects later on, and also access any of the designs that they may have saved on those projects and keep working on them. So what I do like to recommend is when you first are interacting with the visualizer, go ahead and create an account. And that way, whenever you're here, you can sign into that account again. And whatever work you're doing on a project, it's always going to be something that will save. So you're never going to lose any of your progress. So you can see those two account control options right now visible in the upper right corner. We have the create account and the sign in option. When a customer clicks on the Create Account page, it opens this dialog box. And then, of course, you will expect to see all of the customary Create Account features. Anything, of course, that has a star is a required field, but there are some more options for what customers can actually click on. Now, when using the visualizer, customers are going to be automatically essentially agreeing to the terms of service and privacy policy, which can be found, more information can be found at the bottom. And they can obviously opt out at any time from any communication that comes from HomeGuard or RenoWorks. The only communication that a customer should expect to receive from RenoWorks is specifically in regards to the management of their account, or when a uploaded project is saved to their account, they should get get an email with that project link. So if they ever lose it, they can actually retrieve it using that. Okay, so then uh, in my case, I already have an account. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to the sign in drop down instead. So let's close this out and click sign in. And this, of course, you'll want to know what email address, what password you use to sign in. But of course, if you don't know what password you originally used, there is a forgot password feature at the bottom. So essentially the way this works is you would enter your email address in the top there, click forgot password, and that's going to send an email to the one that you've entered in that top box. And that's going to allow you to create a new email and actually get into your account. Obviously, that's not going to work if you don't have an account that's registered in the system. So let's go ahead and just click sign in. As soon as you're signed in on the visualizer, you'll notice that in the top right corner, the create account and sign in options are now replaced by My Projects and My Account. My Projects is the page where you're going to find all of your existing projects, anything that you've saved previously, that's going to be where you're going to go to find that. We'll take a look at that page a little bit later. But if you also want to make any changes to the account information that you have, you can click on the My Account space and you can go and edit anything. This is where you can actually change your password while you're signed in. This can be also where you would update any of your email addresses. So let's say your company makes a change, your domain name changes, you want to use a different email to connect, whatever it is, you can make those changes here and go ahead and update that information. Okay, so let's go and use one of the sample homes to get us started, and then later on we'll move into the upload photo option. Now, one of the differences between these two is using a sample home, of course, is going to present you with projects that have already been prepared for use inside the visualizer. You can see them here in this gallery space. Now, this gallery space can be filtered out for specific uses. So you can look at gallery or projects that only allow you to replace the door. Other ones will allow you to replace the glass inside the door. And then finally, if you want to add glass to a door that doesn't have glass, you can use those options in the add glass section. But of course, you can also just filter by all, and you can click through, open any of these and start playing with it. You will notice there is another call to action in the upper left corner. So let's say you are a customer and you're looking for a home that sort of meets your needs or looks similar to your own, but you can't find it in this list here. You can always jump into uploading your own photo. And I mentioned about the differences between the sample homes and the upload photo, and it really is just that. So the sample homes are going to be something that's pre-designed or pre-prepared to use in the visualizer, whereas the upload photo is a customer's own photo or a photo that you want to see outside of the ones already prepared for use with the tool. So very simply, if we click on one of these projects, this is going to open the gallery project for us, and we can start applying some product. Now, the view that we're looking at right now is what I like to call the design view. This design view is going to be standard whether you're looking at an uploaded photo or a sample home. So once you get a feel for how to navigate around this view, it's going to be just the same whether you've uploaded a photo or not. On the left side of your screen, we have the product layers side panel or list over here on the left. And this can be expanded and collapsed using this small yellow arrow button at the bottom. Obviously, I'm on a large screen device. I'm on a desktop right now, so this isn't really making too much of a difference for me. But if you're navigating or exploring the visualizer on a small screen device, such as a phone, knowing how to expand and collapse that side menu is going to be very important, because at some point, the side menu here is going to be the only thing that you're going to see on screen, and you're going to want to jump between that side panel where a lot of the work happens for designing and the main image of the house. Other view controls are in the lower right portion of your screen. That consists of zooming in and then being able to pan around. So if I zoom in on the screen, I can then click on the four-pointed arrow, which is the pan button, to enter into this panning mode. This will allow me to click and drag my view around if I need to center more clearly onto the area that I'm interested in. And then, of course, zooming out. And then to get out of this panning mode, you're going to go ahead and click on that four-pointed arrow again. Now, when I pan my mouse over top of the screen, you're going to notice that when I get near the door, you're going to start seeing this green outlined box. Now, this is the region that has been prepared for use on this particular project. And in fact, if I hover over the entry door card on the left here, you can see this same green box is highlighting as well. So that can kind of give you an indicator of like which area you're about to click on. Let's say you do have more than one space to apply product to on a home. They would all be shown in this list, and you could identify which one is which by hovering over it. If I want to start applying product to this area, all I need to do is either click on the card on the left here, so this area, or I can actually click right on the image itself. So once I've clicked on the area on the image that I would like to apply product to, it's going to open my selection menu. Now, with this case, it's a door selection menu. So the first thing it's going to ask me to do is choose what size of door this is. Now, hopefully, the customer will know the height of their own door if they're using this project, and they can make that judgment through here. 6 feet 8 inches is the standard height in North American entry doors. So that's usually the one that's going to be the applicable in most cases. So if from here, what I want to do is I'm just going to click on the 6 feet 8 inch door. And the next thing it's going to ask me to do is start building out my door using all of these configurator options. Now, this obviously has a bunch of tabs at the top. So we've got door width that starts with, then there's configuration. We've got door finish, glass shape. If there's a side light, there'll be glass side light options, glass styles, the families, the locks, lock finishes and lock styles, and then finally a summary page. So when we're selecting through here, it's just a matter of going through, choosing each option one at a time, and then building that door out and then applying it at the bottom right. You can see there's that apply button. One thing to note about doors and the way they render on a project, let me just go back to the main view of the house here. When we render products into this green box area, it's always going to fit inside the confines of that green box. So whatever product selection we choose, that's going to stretch or shrink to fill that entire confine of that green edge right there. So this particular door is a door with two side lights in it, and that actually is going to be important for information for me when I'm applying door products. So again, let's go back to that configurator. We're going to go back to configuration tab. This is where we would choose what features are going to go inside the confines of that green box. And in this case, I want to make sure that I'm choosing something that matches the what the house has already. So in this case, it's a single door with two side lights. Now, hopefully this will be actually relatively intuitive for your users because your user typically is not going to change the opening size. They're going to be putting a door that fits or is replacing a door that they currently have with the appropriate side lights and transoms. I will be showing you a little bit later how you would make the change or adjustments if someone is actually looking to build out or replace their door with something that didn't originally fit into that space. Let's say they're making the opening bigger. Okay, so now that I know that I'm looking for a door with two side lights, we're going to click that configuration. We're going to go over to door finish, and then of course I can choose a color. And just to demo this really quickly, we can choose a glass style for the main door area, and then a glass style for the side lights. Then finally, uh, over in glass family, depending on the door that we select, the configuration options, we might have more selection here. So in this case, we don't, but let's see if I choose a different door style. You can see now I have even more options to choose from. So we can go through there and let's see side lights. Yes, okay, so here we have our glass family. Let's go and finish off by adding a interesting handle set in an interesting color, and we're going to click apply to do that door. So you can see that once you kind of know and navigate around that configuration menu, it's actually very quick to go and apply a brand new door to that space. And now we can see the door on our home, and we also can see the door in the product layers list on the left as a small little card sample showing what we have right there. Now, there are two buttons on this sample swatch. There is a small X button. This would allow us to pull the product off of this home, and typically you likely won't need this button for very much. Because if we do want to make or replace this door, all we need to do is click on that door area again and go through the selection menu. I'll just demonstrate that. So if I click on the door space again, here we are, we can build a brand new door. Let's just cancel this. There are other times, and we'll just go back to our side product layers list right there. Okay, so there are other times though where all you want to do is make one change on the door that you've built. Maybe you just need to change the color. You've built everything else, you like the way it looks, but all you want to do is change the color. That's where this second button comes in. This is one of the most important buttons that you will have in your visualizer, and that is the configurator product button or the small pencil icon that will allow you to edit the selection that's already there. So if I click on that, what that's going to do is it's going to open the selection menu, but it's going to open it with all of my current product selections in it. And then all I have to do is go to the space where I want to make the change. So let's say I want to change this to a blue door. I can do that. Notice everything else has stayed the same, and then I'm just going to click apply, and it will re-render that product with the change. So that saves you a lot of time because you're not going to have to recreate that door every single time you want to make just one edit to it. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the other options that are available. The one, let me just see if I can. Yes. Okay. So there is one other element that's kind of a fun thing to know how to do, and that is to select a door option that you've previously applied or selected on a home, and that is using this recent tab. So again, I will just go through that. So when you click on that door space, open the selection menu again. This is you building a brand new door. Maybe you realize, I actually want to go back to something I used before. Before you open that configurator menu where you're going to choose all the different elements to build that door out, there is a tab at the top called Recent that will allow you to reapply a door selection that you've used in the past. So if we want to go back to that red door, I can go using that method. Okay, across the top, there are a couple more buttons to look at. First, there's going to be a way to save multiple designs on a project. So if I click on this snapshot button, there will be a drop-down menu that will open, and it will prompt me to save a copy of this project to my account. The reason why it's going to force me to do that is because the saved designs are going to be saved into the project itself that we're working on. So in order to do that, I actually have to own a copy of this project saved to my account. But if you remember, we're actually working with a sample project right now. So we can save this project to our account first using the save icon at the top right corner. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click on save. It's going to prompt me to give this project a brand new name. So we're going to call this door 1. And we're going to click OK. This project is going to reload for us. We're not going to lose any of our work. You can see that the same door is applied on that. And now if I open my snapshot menu, I can take a snapshot. So let's go ahead and do that. As soon as I take a snapshot, you can see that now I have this thumbnail icon underneath here, and this is just recording my selections as a design on my project that I can recall at any point in the future. So let's go back and add a couple of different options here. Maybe we'll change the door finish. Maybe we want to change the lock color, and let's do a different style of glass for this. And we're going to click apply. Here we go. Here's our green door. Let's go ahead and save this as a different design. So again, I've opened that snapshot menu. I'm taking a snapshot. Now I have the first red door at the top and the second green door at the bottom. And if I ever want to just compare the two designs, all I need to do is open this snapshot menu, click on the thumbnail for the design that I want to reapply to the home. And you can see there it is. So this is a great way to compare and store multiple designs to show people different combinations of products. And one of the best things about this snapshot feature is how it interacts with this report feature, which I will show you next. So at the top, remember, this is the design view that we're looking at right now, but we can also check out a report view area right beside it. So let's click on that. The report view is going to be something where you can integrate your snapshots that you've saved into a multi-page printable report that you can share with your customers, or your customers can share with you or your sales reps. So you can see that right now it registers the fact that there are multiple saved designs on my project, and it gives me the option to select which one are going to be included in my report space. So right now, all of them are selected by default, but if I only really wanted to generate a report with the best design candidate, I can click on one of them to deselect it and only build the report using the one that's still showing. But I would like to show you how it would look if we included both. So I'm going to make sure they both stay selected. We're just going to go to the Design Report tab here. Now, the design report, as I said, is a multi-page printable report. The very first page is always just a cover page, and it is going to have the name of the project as well as today's date. Now you'll notice that the name of the project is in the upper left corner, and that's the name I gave it when I originally saved this project to my account. But this actually can be changed. You can actually click on this name and give it any name you would like. So if you are a sales rep and you're working with a customer, one of the great things to do is to actually name the project the whatever identifier the job has, whether it's the customer's name, whether it's a work number, whatever it is to help communicate to that customer that this is their job. You can definitely name that project that, and that's going to be reflected in the report space. So let's scroll past this cover page. And then very next page we're going to see is the actual design on the home. And if I scroll down a little bit more, you're going to see the breakdown of what product has been applied to that design. If I keep scrolling down, you're going to see there's my second design as well as the product colors that have been applied to that one. And the very final page, the bottom, is a back cover page. Mostly this back cover page is going to deal with this disclaimer at the bottom here. So obviously, whenever you're working with customers, when you're handing them marketing materials, printed brochures, whatever it is, their standard disclaimers do apply. So customers will want to see physical samples before they make their final decisions. Things like monitor color calibration can be a huge factor in the way these colors are going to look on a home. And so it's very important for customers to see the real thing before they make any big selection. So that disclaimer lives on that back page, and it can be a good thing to walk a customer through before making any big sales, as you probably already know. All right, so how do you use this page? Well, or this printable report, the way you're going to interact with this is in the upper right corner, there is a print report button. Now this is going to open your browser's printer menu. Now this I'm on Chrome right now, so this is going to look maybe a little bit different for you if you're on a different browser type. But there always, of course, is the option to save to PDF. This is what I usually like to recommend people do. Obviously, not everyone will want to have a physical printed copy of something like this. They might only have the ability to print it in black and white or what have you. So being able to save it as or print to PDF is going to be how you're going to create a digital file, take it offline, and be able to send that to your customers via email. So you can see that's pretty much all I do because it's set as the default for me. But essentially, it's either going to be a destination dropdown that instead of your printer, you're going to actually save it as a PDF, or in some cases, it's going to be a checkbox near the bottom that will allow you to print or save to PDF, and that's going to allow you to create a digital file for this. And again, you can include all the pages, you can include some of the pages, it's totally up to you how you want to arrange that, and then take it offline. All right, let's go back to our design view, and we'll just go over one or two more buttons here, and then we're going to talk about how to edit these projects. So first, there is a compare slider. So if I toggle that on, there is this bar that I can drag across the view to show how that change transforms a customer's house. So again, that's an interactive feature. The interactivity is more for the fun of it, but you can definitely drag this around and see the change on how this is going to affect a customer's house. And then, of course, we do have the remove product button. This is similar to the X box in the upper right corner, but this is for all products on the project, and it will just ask you to confirm that you would like to do that. So relatively more useful, let's say, if you've got multiple areas that you've got multiple products applied to. In your case, they're predominantly just going to be a door area, so maybe less useful. Again, to change the door to a completely different style, all you really need to do is click on that area again, go through the configuration options. This is going to let you build that new door out, or in the case of wanting to make a small change, remember there's that pencil icon in the top left corner on that sample area, and that allows you to make a single change. Okay, the last button is the small download image button. This is like a cloud with a down arrow. So this will allow you to download a JPEG image of the current design. So if I click on that, what that's going to do is it's just going to automatically download a JPEG into my default location or default folder on my computer. And then, of course, I'm going to be able to just take that, do what I want with it. One of the key differences, however, between this and the report view is that this is just a straight image of what we're seeing on the screen. It's not going to show you a breakdown of what is applied to that image. If you want that breakdown of product information, you definitely want to use the report space. And then finally, in the upper right corner beside the save, there are a couple of sharing options. So customers and you, sales reps, can, of course, share this via Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and email. And the way this typically is saved is going to be a small little image demo of what this looks like, and then it's a link to the project. So potential users could come in, click on that, explore what the product looks like on that project. Any changes that they make to that project, if they want to start playing around and exploring the different colors and stuff, it's not going to affect the version of the project that you have saved to your account. It's just going to let them just explore it temporarily. These changes will only be saved if you are the one who has that saved to your account and you're the one making those changes. And that's one of the reasons why I do recommend that you actually go ahead and sign into your account when you first go to interact with the visualizer, and that way you know that any changes that you make are going to be permanently saved. One of the useful ones for here can be the email option. So if I click on email, that's actually going to open a little dialog box. I can enter the email address of the person that I would like to send it to, and this project link, as well as a little bit of information, it's going to be sent as an email to the email that's recorded here on file, or that you've entered here. All right, let's talk about how to edit a project like this. So as soon as I saved a project to my account, remember we were originally working on a sample home, but I saved this project to my account. And what happens is now I have the freedom to make edits to this green outlined area. I can actually change the confines of this box. And that option is now visible in right at the top of the product layers list here, there's this yellow edit icon with a pencil. And if I click on that, that's going to take us to the behind the scenes area, and I can actually affect where this green outline is on my home. I can also do things like changing the overall scale of an image or adding additional foreground regions so that product won't display in those areas. I'm going to start actually walking you through all of these steps because there's going to be some cases where being able to edit a project is going to be very important for you. So let's go back to our sample gallery because there was a couple of projects that I identified as something that you might find uh, um, an easy edit that you might be asked to do. So let's go to this sample home here. Now, this sample home, you can see that if I hover over the half door light we have prepared on this, this is a glass replacement um, sample home. And we can only replace the doors, or the glass that's in the door right now. And you might be asked, hey, can I see what this project would look like if I replace the transom window glass right above it? But that area hasn't been masked on this sample project. So at the moment, no, you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd need to make some edits to this sample project. However, this is pretty easy to do. So I'm going to walk you through this particular action. So let's go ahead and save a copy of this project to my account. We're going to call it transom, and we're going to click OK. This is going to reload this project for us, but now this copy of the project is ours, and it's going to be stored in the My Projects area. And as soon as we've done that, you can see that the edit option is now available at the top of there. So that allows us to get behind the scenes where we can start affecting these green outlined areas. In this case, what we want to do is we want to add a new one around this transom window so we can replace the glass in the transom. Let's go ahead and click on the appropriate product that we're wanting to add to this project, in this case, transom. And then what we need to do is we need to tell the program where the product should render on our image. I like to usually start with the rectangle tool. There's two drawing modes, however. There is contour, and you can see contour is selected by default, and then there is rectangular. Just to demonstrate the difference for you, if I keep contour selected and take my cursor over top of my image here, if I click once, it will set my very first anchor point on the screen. You can see all I've done is I've clicked once, but it's basically pinned to the image where I clicked. And even if I just casually move my mouse around, you can see I have a line following my cursor around. And this allows me to build freeform shapes using as many corners, as the four corners in any shape that I want. So you can see that as soon as I hit that third point, it finished. And then there we have our new green outline. It's a little bit of a skewed shape. I don't know what I'm doing here, maybe punching a hole in the in the porch roof and adding a light a ceiling window. So as soon as I've created my freeform shape, you can see that I now have some more editing options on the left side of my screen here. I can do things like set the dimensions of this particular shape that I've drawn. I can even clone it. If I want to create a duplicate, an exact copy of this shape, I can go ahead and click clone, and I now have another green funky shape that I can maneuver around on my screen. You'll notice that each of these shapes, the anchor points that I have, are little handles. If I hover over them, my cursor turns into, again, that plus-shaped cursor. If I click and drag, I can actually move and position that point around on my screen. I can also do things like remove the shape that I've added, or even confirm that I'm done editing that shape. So again, we got remove, we have done. So let's click on the remove. I don't need that shape in the sky. And I want to remove the other shape in the sky that I've done as well. So in order to edit a shape that already exists, all I need to do is go ahead and click on it right on the image itself. That's going to pull up those edit options again. And again, we're just going to click remove opening. All right, let's try that again. We're going to try and demo the rectangle drawing tool instead. So again, I've selected transom shape, and instead of using contour this time, I would like to use the rectangle shape. So I'm going to click on rectangle, and I might actually want to zoom in on my view because it's a little far away, and I want to be a little bit more particular about where this shape goes. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. And again, I have that plus symbol cursor on the screen, and I can start by clicking once to set my first anchor point. So I have clicked into that bottom bottom left corner of my screen. And I have, it might be hard to see, but I have a black box or rectangle following my cursor around. Remember how with the contour, it was a line, but in this case now it's a box. So what I want to do in this case is remembering that the product that I'm going to be displaying in this area is going to fill the confines of my box. What I want to do is make sure that this rectangle is going to go all the way around that area where I want the product to go. So I'm going to line it up roughly to make sure that this glass transom shape is fully inside the confines of that box. And then as soon as I've got that lined up where I want, I'm going to go ahead and click. And just like before, I can maneuver these points around, and I might do that. Obviously, this image isn't quite straight onto the camera, so some adjustment might be needed. And once we're happy with that, let's go ahead and click Done to confirm that change. All right, so now we have two of the existing glass areas at the bottom, and we have one at the top. Let's go ahead and return to the design view using our Save and Continue button. All right, so before we had the half door light, and we now have this new one called Transom 3. So if I click on Transom 3, we can explore the different transom options and find one that matches our scenario here. And then of course, when replacing glass, those options are dependent, of course, on what you guys offer. So let's go ahead and apply this decorative transom to that area, and there we go. So not too bad. So if you ever come up in the case where you've got a sample home that you're working on and a customer really wants to see one particular thing, but they don't have an image of their own home, you can definitely manipulate and change these sample homes pretty easily to do whatever you need them to do. Okay, so that's great. Let's now move into uploading a customer's home, your own home. So let's click on the upload space, upload photo page. And with this is actually going to use AI technology to try and identify and map out the door in the image for you. So a lot of the work is going to be done automatically on these projects that we're going to submit. So let's go ahead and choose an image from our computer. So I'm going to click on this box here. I can either drag and drop the image into the space or just click on this box and find the image that I would like to use. So that'll pull up from my computer right there. If you're uploading a photo from a phone, just one thing to note is that there is a minimum image size. You definitely need to have a nice, large, nice quality image of your home for this. And the phones will typically try and compress or automatically select a small size when uploading to a website. There will be a moment as you're uploading a phone from or an image from a phone where you can set or choose the size of the image, and you want to make sure that you're choosing large or actual size in order for the image to properly go into the visualizer and not get rejected right away from a size problem. So again, it's just a matter of choosing large or actual size images when you're uploading from a phone. If for whatever reason the image comes in rotated sideways, upside down, whatever it is, you can actually adjust that using these rotate options down at the bottom there. And, as you're working with a small screen on a phone, you can definitely just put an image in here, realize it's not the right one, click the X to clear that, and then choose a new image to proceed instead. So let's go ahead and click the Submit button. And then the AI is going to attempt to identify where the door is on the image, and it's going to automatically put that region in for us. So this is obviously a little bit dependent on the speed of your internet, but it typically takes less than a minute for it to do that. It's going to load up the project for us and tell us where the door is. So you can see that on the image, it's actually done a pretty good job. There's our door. It hasn't identified any of the transoms. That's actually relatively normal at this point. That the door itself is usually what gets identified by the program. And if you want to include transoms, it's just a matter of using those editing tools, which I will be showing you next here. So let's just demonstrate how this has turned out, how this looks. So let's just do a quick collection of doors. I don't want to keep using that green. Let's do orange. Orange is a nice color. All right, there we go. We have a door. And really in 2 seconds, we were able to do this. And if you're using a phone, this is about as far as you can go, because one limitation with this is the editing tools that are accessible using this yellow edit button. Those are only available on a larger screen device, such as a laptop or a desktop. And the reason for that is because the work of actually adding things on a small touch screen of a phone screen is just, it's a non-starter. So usually what will happen is if you want to edit this project further, to include things like the transom, stretch that box, do all those fun things. What you're going to want to do is you're going to just want to switch to a large screen device. As long as you've got as long as you're logged into your account, the instant you upload an image, it's going to automatically save to the My Projects area of your project. And in fact, you will actually be receiving an email with the link to this project telling you that it's ready to work with. So you can navigate back to the site on a desktop, sign into your account, open your My Project area, pull open this project, and then keep working on it, or you can click from the email that is provided to you. Okay, so let's edit this. Let's go through the process of making changes to ensure that we have the transoms available on a house like this. So I'm going to click on edit, and you can see there's my existing green door. And if I click on it, again, I have those handles. So it's easy enough to just move this around and drag these corners to match up with the full confines of my my full door with the transom lights as well. So let's not transoms, the side lights. Oh gosh, here we go. Pretty easy to do. And once we're happy with that, obviously keeping it box shaped is good. Want to do that. You can make this as perfect as you want to. Let's go ahead and click done. And we're just going to go back and save and continue, go back to our design view. And so you can see right away that we had a door already applied, but it was a door without those side lights. So it's stretching to fill, doesn't look accurate at all, but easy enough. We can just click on the pencil icon, and we're just going to change the configuration to include the 2 side lights, and we're going to reapply that, and it will fix that problem for us very easily. So there we go. We have our door on this home with those 2 side lights. Now, it looks a little unrealistic still because it kind of cuts into the landscaping and the masonry that's on this house right now. So I'm just going to show you there is a way to even improve the way this looks even further. So this obviously is not something that your user base or your customers is going to know or play around with doing, but it is really great for your sales team to know how to do this, because if they're able to present the customer's home with the door in situ and it looks really nice and clean and almost like a direct replacement, that's going to help sell that door a lot easier. So let's go over to our edit options, and I'm going to talk about a very unique tool, and that is the foreground tool at the bottom here. Now, this foreground tool will allow us to tell the program that certain areas on our image should never have product covering over it. And you can actually see that right now, the red box on our screen right now is showing over top of the garage door. So the AI has already sort of identified that area for whatever reason as something that should be foregrounded. But we're going to add another region to include this corner over here with a little bit of the bush and a little bit of this masonry. So what I want to do is I want to add more of my foreground to this project. So I'm going to click Add to Surface. Now, in this case, it's a non-standard shape, so I want to actually use my contour tool. So I'm going to choose a place to start with, maybe down here by the bush. We're going to click once to set that anchor point again. So you saw me do this before, so it's basically the same concept. So we're just going to click at every corner where we want to anchor this onto our project. And I'm just going to kind of build out that masonry ledge right there. And in order to close this particular shape, I always need to make sure that I go back to my very first starting point, because otherwise the computer or the visualizer has no idea when I'm finished drawing, right? This is a free form drawing tool. I can make whatever shape I want. So I need a way to tell it that I'm done. So I'm going to loop back around to my very first starting point. There will be a small white dot. You may not be able to see it on your side, but there is a small white dot. One of the great indicators, though, is if you look, my plus symbol cursor, if I hover over it, it's going to turn to a white hand. As soon as I see that, I can go ahead and click, and that's going to tell the program I've looped all the way around the element that I'm outlining, and I am done drawing. And so that's going to complete that shape for me. And you can see there we have this red space. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of my options. We're going to confirm those changes. Then I'm going to click Save and Continue, and we're going to go back and re-render this door, but you can now see that I've essentially punched out that space around that door, and it's giving me a little bit more of a realistic look of how that door looks on that particular home. All right, so let's kind of close out by going to our project space right here. And these are all the projects that I currently have saved on my account. You can see that I was playing around with various products. I was even exploring all of the different styles of windows and different things that I could replace using the various tools in the visualizer. If I want to get back to a project I was working on before, all I need to do, of course, is click on that. It's going to reload that project for me. And if there are saved snapshots, that's where I will find them. Remember, those are actually linked to a particular project. All right. The only other thing to note is that when you're in the My Projects area, if you ever decide you do not need a particular project, there is a garbage can icon in the upper right corner, so you can actually delete these. So if your account is getting a little cluttered up and you no longer need some of these projects, you can go ahead and clear them out as needed. All right. So that should conclude everything that I wanted to show you today. I am going to switch it over to do some question answering if there are any questions.
I'm all good. That was fantastic. I really appreciate that. Would you be able to send this to all of us in this meeting here, and then we can use it for our training in the upcoming weeks with our dealers?
Yeah, absolutely. Avalon will definitely be able to follow up with the link for this recording.
Okay, thank you guys very much. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll send that over, and also, oh, go ahead, Ella.
Oh no, I think we're on the same track, Avalon. Go for it.
I was just going to say we'll also be able to send over an FAQ document. We'll need a little time to kind of put that together, but just a quick reference guide of the most commonly asked questions, because of course seeing the visual is the best, but you don't always necessarily have time to go back and review that. So we will send over a document that has the commonly asked questions to your team as well, and you guys can share internally as needed or share with your dealers.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, if there's no other questions, then I'll follow up with the link today, and then we'll work on that FAQ document, and I'll send that over in a week or two for you guys. And otherwise, I hope you stay warm and enjoy your weekend.
Yep, you too. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much.
You're
Take
welcome.
care, guys.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.